Welcome back to another episode of Life Advice that you do not hear in church. My name's Tiffany, and this is my daughter, Ellie. She's a little sick today, so she's hanging out with us. And as you can see, she is very happy to see herself in the camera. It's perfect because today we're going to talk about the idea of self-love. I've heard from a lot of you over the past few years saying, should Christians love themselves? Like, is this even biblical? Is this what Jesus would want us to do? And it's something I've thought about for a long time. And my answer is yes. I think we should love ourselves, and here is why. First thing, I think the Bible presupposes that we do love ourselves. Like I know we've all heard it said, or a lot of us have heard it said, like, love your neighbor as yourself. That's what Jesus said. And I think that gives this idea that he's presupposing that we do love ourselves. And for a while, I thought that was just Jesus sees our sin nature, our tendency towards selfishness, and that's why he gives this command. But I don't think that anymore. I think it's simply a statement of the obvious. Like, we have to look out for our own interest to some extent if we want to stay alive. We got to feed ourselves. We got to sleep. You got to take care of yourself in order to even live. God made us that way. He could have made us where we could be constantly giving and constantly serving and constantly loving others and forget about ourselves and still stay alive, but he didn't make us that way. And I think it's less an indictment of our selfishness and more just a presupposition that we were created to need to love ourselves too. Now I've come to realize how I treat myself is how I should treat my neighbor. Well, would I want to treat my neighbor or a friend the way I treat myself? Because honestly, sometimes the answer to that is no. The way I talk to myself sometimes in my head is not the way I would ever talk to a neighbor, not the way I'd love a neighbor. So I think it speaks volumes about how are we treating ourselves. Sometimes it's not as we would treat a neighbor, but it's way worse. The second thing is when we're overly focused on not loving ourselves too much, it actually distracts us from loving other people well. So here's an example of this. When I was younger, I thought it was vanity, to try and do my hair or look nice. Like, it was spending too much time on myself. And I thought it was a bad thing. And I'd get so down on myself, so much shame over that, over wanting to look nice or wanting to take care of myself, that it was like I became more and more inwardly focused. Instead of being able to say, yeah, I'm loving me and I'm loving others too, it became all about, I shouldn't love myself, I shouldn't love myself, I shouldn't love myself. And then I just became even more focused on myself, ironically. The third reason I think it's good to love ourselves is just because of being a parent now. The Bible talks a lot about God as a father figure or a mother figure to us. And I think when we look at life through that lens, stuff kind of makes a little more sense. So for my girls, I want them to love themselves. My one daughter loves artwork. She's 3 years old, Natalie. And I'll be like, Natalie, you are so good at art. And she'll go, I know. And it's not this stuck up, I know I'm the best in the world. It's just this confidence, yes, I know I'm good at that. And I love that she can say that. It makes me so happy. I don't remember ever feeling like I could just say that. But if you're anything like me and it's been kind of ingrained in you that you shouldn't love yourself, that that's not a Christian thing to do, it can be hard to figure out the balance. Because no, you don't want to be in love with yourself. You're like, I'm the best thing that ever happened. I'm God's gift to the world. And without me, the world wouldn't function. Yeah, you are a gift, but it's not everything depends on you and revolves around you. And so I think finding that balance of loving yourself while also loving others, that is the key. And so for me, it became getting to know myself a little more. For a while, I didn't even know what my favorite color was. I knew what someone else might expect it to be, but I didn't know myself. That's kind of a silly example, but I needed to take time to become more self-aware, to get to know myself more. What was I interested in? What did I enjoy? What made me come alive? And kind of explore that. And then prioritize myself too in self-care, instead of just saying, well, I have to do this and this and this for other people, to be able to stop and say what do I want to do for me? That's important too. So it takes some practice to get there, but I would say it is a worthy goal. So I would say, yes, I think it is good and biblical for Christians to love themselves. And comment down below. I want to hear what you would say as well. Love you guys. I'll be here with a sick and fussy baby who learned how to scream like a pterodactyl this week, and it's very loud. Yeah. Okay. Bye.